Hello everybody, this is me Johan here. Now the Nexus lineup has been far and gone for the past few years, but I've had the opportunity to use the last Nexus for the past 1 week. So how does it hold up to 2020 standards? So this is the Nexus 5X review in 2020.
The thing that made me instantly love the 5X is this compact 5.2-inch screen. I mean, in a day and age where screens are 6 and above inches, it is really handy to use a phone with just a 5.2-inch screen. Very comfortable experience using the phone because the screen is just so compact. The next thing I've really loved is the feel of this phone. The entire phone is made up of plastic. Due to that, it's very light and very nimble to use, and this has been a really enjoyable experience with the Nexus 5X. The next thing, like the 6P, it has got a fingerprint scanner right at the back. It's the exact same scanner that was used by the 6P, and this is something I did use a 6P previously. I really enjoyed using. See, you guys can have a look at it. You just touch it and it opens. Touch again, it opens. It's a bit of a delay, but one thing is it's been very consistent, and it's something I've really enjoyed using on this phone, despite the slight delay, as it was extremely consistent. Believe me, this is more consistent than the Pixel 2 XL that I use. As far as screen quality went, it was very much manageable. I mean, keep in mind, it's a 1080p display used on this phone, 5.2-inch IPS LCD. As you guys can see for yourself, the color tones are a little bit on the cooler side, but I don't mind. I actually prefer cooler tones to the warmer tones, and this has been a reasonably enjoyable experience. And the brightness levels were okay, not bad. I would generally keep the brightness at, say, about so much. I'll show you exactly this much while using the phone. It's about 30-35% of its brightness. Overall, the screen has been acceptable even to today's standards. As you guys can see, watching video content on this phone is also a reasonably enjoyable experience. It's not the best, but still it's very much viewable. The one area where this phone did not do all that great was supposedly with the battery. I mean, you guys can have a look at it. Out of these 17 hours, about 10 hours was the time that I landed up sleeping. So, frankly speaking, you can get about, on Wi-Fi it still does a decent job. On continuous usage, you can probably get 4 hours of screen on time on Wi-Fi. But on 4G, this phone sips battery like nobody's business. I mean, if you're lucky, you'll get 2 hours of screen on time on Wi-Fi. The standby times are still outstanding. I mean, overnight, if you keep this phone off charge, I mean, just keep it on the desk and switch out to Wi-Fi and 4G and everything, it still sips only maximum 1 or 2% overnight. But that doesn't really make up for the fact that its battery life has really degraded quite a bit, and this is one area I've been really disappointed. But still, on Wi-Fi, it's still manageable. You can easily get about sometimes even 4.5 hours of screen on time if you're using YouTube a lot. As far as performance went, I have nothing to complain. At the same time, it's nothing all that great. It's got a Snapdragon 808 processor, and there's a mere 2 GB of RAM inside. It's just been okay. You can use maybe 4 or 5 apps simultaneously. Beyond that, the phone would slow down quite a bit. But said and done, considering the fact that this phone is a 4-year-old phone, I don't have anything much to complain. I didn't have any crash or any issues like that. But the only thing is the app opening speeds, as you guys can see for yourself, it takes a bit of time to open up the apps, generally on the whole. I mean, it's a 4-year-old phone, you can't expect much out of it. So performance is something that hasn't really aged all that greatly. It's okay. It still runs on the Android version 8.1. So considering that, I would rate the performance as okay, manageable even today. As you guys can hear, the audio comes from the single front speaker right over here. This is the one area where this phone has not impressed me at all. In a quiet environment like this, you can hear everything, but in an environment where there's a lot of noise, it's very difficult to hear what's coming out of the speaker. Speaker has been just okay. I mean, in this day and age, you get phones with way better speakers than this, but it's been a manageable experience overall. As you guys can hear, the quality of audio sounds very tinny, and it's at its maximum volume, believe it or not. So this has been a little disappointing right from its beginning and even till today. But manageable nevertheless. And yeah, I did not even bother playing games on this phone. I mean, just looking at the way it was opening up the apps, I did not even bother to go and play games. You can probably play some basic games on this. Temple Run and all should run fine, but I would not advise to play games like PUBG or something like that, because the phone will definitely lag quite a bit playing games like that. I mean, keep in mind one thing, the phone is 4 years old. You really cannot expect that much out of this, and that mere 2 GB of RAM really does not help its cause out. One area where this phone has impressed me as was with the 6P, and even with this, it's the same camera setup used on this, a single camera at the back and single camera in the front as well. The camera is still a potent camera used on this phone. The pictures I got out of this camera are still potentially really good and can pretty much beat many of the budget phones even in today's segment. In fact, I feel the details got out of this phone's camera are still really great. This is the one area where I still really like using this phone. It's in the camera department.
As you guys can see, the 12 megapixel camera on this phone still produces good images in both daytime and low light photography. Even the selfies turned out to be good, even to today's standards. It's an 8 megapixel selfie camera used on this phone. Alright, coming to the verdict side of things. This phone can't exactly be used as a second phone today, as apart from its poor battery life, its performance too isn't adequate to meet today's standards. But if you do have one, keep it as it is the last Nexus ever made.
So that's it for me today, guys. I hope you guys liked the video. If you guys loved the video, I'd appreciate it if you guys could give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and do hit the bell icon so that you all get notified with the latest and greatest videos the second they are uploaded on YouTube by me. So what else can I say? Wishing all of you a tremendous day ahead of you. Ciao for now.